Hey, 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 welcome back to Drive Time. I am your host, Craig Pasta Jardula, and we do it live, bringing you all the hot takes, headlines, and unfiltered opinions that matter most. Whether you're stuck in traffic, cruising to work, or just chilling at home, we want to hear from you. Today's topics are all about the big stories making waves, but we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your take on everything from the latest political debates to the everyday challenges we face. Remember, whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, we welcome all points of view. So grab that hands-free device, dial us up, and let's dive into the conversation. What's on your mind? It's Drive Time. Call in now. Build it and they will come. That's what they said. The host is muted your mic. Is it unmuted? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Are you muting my mic? You just come walking in. Well,
I was unmuting your mic.
That's what she said. Guys, welcome to the show. It is a Friday. Happy Friday. I want to thank you all. This is episode 20th, right? 20. This is like a month, almost a month in the bag here at Drive Time in the morning. I want to welcome my co-host today for Friday. Andrew Zigman is in the house. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How have you been, buddy? How's this week treated you?
It's been a crazy busy week. I haven't even done my homework. I literally have up here a YouTube clip of the Japanese history of the militarism, and I haven't even watched it yet. So it's like I didn't even do my homework.
Oh, I showed up to
class.
We're living through it,
Well, let me make a quick announcement. I'm going to probably make this announcement a couple times because I know there's just only people who come stumbling on in. But the monologue I read at the very end, have you stayed around and heard it before, Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about creating that ripple effect of kindness and love and beyond. Because when we listen to each other, we build meaningful relationships that can really push through. And look, I'm a free speech advocate of sorts, absolutist, whatever you want to call us nowadays. I really do. I don't want to sit there and babysit people or tell people what to do. I'm not going to do it, but I would hope that you guys would start treating. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about I don't even want to say a select few. I just want to make an announcement that I started the show so we can have a voice, so we can have opinion. We can get away from the mainstream media. That monologue I read at the end is very important because it's all about listening and being kind to one another. If we start attacking each other in the chat and the chat becomes toxic, right? It sucks then. Then nobody's going to want to join in. Nobody's going to say anything. If you have an important point of view, and there are some amazing points of views, right? I'm going to use, for example, yesterday, David Crow calling in at the very end. I know he's not here that early, but I've been around David Crow before at rallies and whatnot. He can lose his shit, right, on people. And I'm like, David, if you start yelling at people, whether you be right or wrong, your message is going to be lost. Same thing goes for that chat. I would like to create a community where we can throw around our opinions because there are some strong out there opinions, right? And some of them are great. Some of them I'm not crazy about, but some of them are really great. But if you're yelling at other people, or if you're attacking other people, if you're telling them they're stupid or accusing them of something, yesterday I didn't like it. I told David, he's like, well, Pasta's got to be good because you don't want to be an anti-Zionist. That's not true. I mean, I'm gonna say whatever I want to say when I want to say it. So what I'm saying is, don't project shit on people. Don't attack them. Let's listen to them, especially if you have a really good idea. It's just going to be beneficial for all, and we want to get as many people over here as possible. We want to make this the forum for sharing ideas in a safe place, right? Because who wants to go someplace, share an idea, and told they're an idiot or a dickhead or attacked? It sucks. So I'm just going to ask kindly that you guys just consider that, take on the aura of Pasta, right? That's my thing. I ain't the smartest fucking cookie in the room, but, I try to be the nicest and the sweetest. So that's all I ask. Andrew, there's my speech. How did I do?
I think that's a good idea. You can't really build anything if all you're doing is fighting with each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, just to tie it into something, that was the whole idea of the Assange movement, right? Yeah. At least the way that we built action for Assange, because we literally had houses full of hardcore like ANCOMs and like super libertarians and people that were like, oh no, I love Bernie, you know, and then people that were like diehard pro-Trump, all in the same house working for the same thing because we put whatever differences we had aside for whatever that thing was. And I think, like you're saying, the thing we're trying to do here is literally to just spread information and talk with each other and share ideas across, whether it's us talking, someone calling in, or talking in the chat. So I think it's important to have that. You could tell someone they're wrong, but tell them they're wrong respectfully, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And in the Assange movement, you had some intense people, right? You had some intense fucking people, really. And, you know, and I get it. Like, you know, introverts of sorts, right? And they, you know, especially like a lot of introverts kind of find their way over to YouTube and find their way into tubes, into chats, because right, they don't necessarily go out there and talk to people. So here they are in the chats. They have ideas, and they want to express them, and they see people who disagree, whatever, and they just lash out at them. Let's just try to be cool. That's it. That's it. If you have a feeling, you have an impulse to say something, don't say it right away. Take a second, take a breath, think about it, write it down, then let it out. That's one way. Just don't act impulsively over what people say. Don't.
Or
when
just
you
read
act
whatever
impulsively
you say before you post it. You know
what's
what
that?
I mean? I just try to read whatever I say before I post it.
Yeah.
You know, that's my strategy. Like, not that I'm always nice to everybody on the internet, but
hi, Amanda Marie. Good morning, guys. There's
so
Enderman
real quick,
Bill.
what can we do? What can we do to get you your old Twitter account back? Is there anything?
I'm gonna have another conversation with my lawyer tonight. We already talked about it. He's gonna write a letter. He's gonna send it to the legal team. We think with a lawyer's head, you know, topping. And I waited to do that. I probably should have done that right out of the gate.
I mean,
we
you
had a
never think you're gonna have
conversation
to
about it
lawyer up with
yesterday. I
social
laid
media,
everything
right?
out. He's gonna probably be able to write a letter over to Twitter's legal department. We just got to get human eyes on it. That's it. It would take them probably 5 minutes to go, oh yeah, this was a male. This is Pasta Jardula for fucking 12 years, and now all of a sudden it's you know, I don't think it was 12 years. What is it, like 8 years, 9 years, whatever it is, years, and now it's
whatever, Camilla.
Right? Yeah, because I mean that's wild, man. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's crazy. That's literally like 100,000 people.
I had 30,000.
30,000? Okay.
30,000. 28,000, 29,000, but it's effective for shit like this. Probably get an extra 5 people, 10 people on every day extra.
Over a decade of work, you know. You know, not that like everybody goes through it, but you could literally go back through all of your posts and be like, okay, I'm going to reference my own stuff from 2016, talking about what happened with the campaign back then and stuff. You know.
Just no, it's me, it's my stuff. What little following it is, I'm proud of it, and you know, and that's the thing. I'm proud to be in part of this new community right now. It's like I have to embrace. You know, when I saw Amanda Marie Brinkley just pop on in, and you know, obviously seeing Fred Edward there, and usually Gabrielle Freedom's around. Like, I'm just embracing what I got, and I'm very happy about it, guys. You know, last year I was sick in my bed for like 6 months out of the year, so I know health is everything. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need to be some huge rock star. You know, if I am, so be it. I'm going to handle it properly. But, you know, I'm going to embrace what I got, you know. And I'm really embracing you guys. So please, let's just try to talk nicely to each other in the chat. I'm talking from a personal point of view. And like I said, I'm a free speech absolutist. I believe in the First Amendment. I'm not even going to come in there and start suspending people and silencing people or whatever. No, I'm not going to fucking do that unless somebody's getting really fucking out of hand. And I'm not talking about me. You can attack me all you want. I don't give a shit. That's my fucking job. But for really, you could, you know, Bob from Atlantis, I don't see him here yet. If you're here, Bob, good morning and stuff, right? Like, Bob made a comment the other day that normally might have upset me. He says if Pasta didn't have double standards, he wouldn't have no standards at all. That's my job to take this shit on my fucking I do not play guitar. It's my job to take those shots on the chin. It's each other that I'm concerned about within the community, because I want that community to grow. You know, my success and the success of the show is based upon the people who participate in it, right? You guys are the content. There's a number on that screen, 561-247-2721, 561-247-2721. That's Bernie Sanders Blackjack. I have text people morning. People.
Google stole my phone number.
What's that?
I had a phone number like a VoIP, like an internet phone number for, I don't know, since I was like 15 years old or something, and Google stole that phone number from me.
Really?
Yeah. I never tried getting it back or nothing, but just as like a random side note, don't let Google steal your phone number.
They steal shit all the time, it seems. There he is. How you doing? Good morning. Exit the Knights of the Malta now. Well, they called it Jersey Strong, but maybe are we Boston Wicked Smart? I don't know if you heard, guys. Hello, Sky. Good morning. I was just talking to everybody in the chat. If we can be loving and respectful, it's like I say at my closing monologue. You know, let's create a ripple effect of kindness. There's some strong ideas here. We don't want to be attacking each other when, you know, somebody disagrees with our idea. Because let me just tell you, as a human being that's known as a people person, and I'm sure Andrew can, you know, confirm this, that, you know, of the group, you know, I'm probably one of the most people persons out there. I talk to everybody. I love everybody. I was in hospitality for years. You know what I'm saying? I have a way of connecting with people. And that's important. But not everybody's like that. I get that. I met a lot of
Italian, for real. Huh? It's that Italian in you.
It's the Italian.
I remember I was working at a car dealership, and there was this dude there named Bob Sioka, and he was probably like 60 years old. He had been there since it opened like 40 years ago. And his whole thing was finding a way that he knew you through somebody, because that's how many people he knew. And he would just talk and talk about these people's lives until he found that person he knew that knew them, because he knew that many people. And it was just like, I loved it. And you remind me of that so much. Just like always talking, always happy, always making it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
It's important. You know, when it comes to the Italian heritage, there's a lot of people out there who, like, you know, they get this tough guy, wise guy image, and they want to be remembered as a person, like, you know, they believe their whole aura is all about like a Tony Soprano tough guy image. It's not. I'm more like Artie Bucco, right? Like, my favorite character on The Sopranos was Artie Bucco, because he was the chef, and Bobby Bacala, who I think his name is Tony Shapira. I believe he's still alive. He was at the Knicks parade. He has dogs. But Bobby Bacala was known as the character. I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show. Janice, who was Tony Soprano's sister, you know, she went to the shrink, and she was talking to her shrink, and she was talking about Bobby Bacala. She goes, no, this guy is different, right? And one of the things Bobby Bacala was known for, and it was kind of very, like, you know, very sinister. They had a fight, Bobby Bacala and Tony Soprano, with their fist, and Bobby Bacala beat him, right? So Tony Soprano, being the boss, he knew that Bobby Bacala had never been ordered to kill somebody, right? Like, he never had it. He never did that. He was kind of different. And Tony Soprano had him whack somebody in spite, because he got his ass kicked in a fight, and he wanted to take away something. You know, it showed like the negative, evil side of Tony. Like, all right, you kicked my ass, but I'm your boss, so now you're going to go do something I never had you never had to do. And as his father never wanted him to have to do, it's like, if you don't have to do that kind of thing, don't do that. And Bobby Bacala was known as that. That's my favorite guy, like the nice guy, the loving guy. You know, he like choo-choo trains and shit. So yeah. I just want to I want to have that type of kind of energy in the chat. Great ideas, some over the top ideas. I remember the phone call the other day with Exit the Night of the Malta now, right? Exile, not Exit. See, Exile the Knights of Malta now. The conversation you had with Karen Kwiatkowski, that's great. It was amazing. It was over the top, right? It was so much, but your solution is better than my solution. Your solution is a way of peace. I don't want you to lose that message by getting too hairy with people in the chat. If they don't agree with you, all right, you don't agree, but this is what I think about. If we create that kind of element over there, I talked about my friend David Crow, right? And I've been at rallies with him where he's just blasting on people. No, you have a really good idea. You have a strong opinion. You catch more bees with honey. And I'll leave it at that. Let's try to show love, kindness, and create that ripple effect. What's up? Look what he's got. He called you Rasputin.
I love it. I think that's hilarious.
You love the
Rasputin Jesus.
Rasputin Jesus. So
the only problem is that Rasputin tried to help, Tsar Nicholas.
Yeah.
But he was like, in some weird way, he was like the Charlie Kirk of his day. Like, and I know people think that's strange, but he was literally like this, like hyper pro-Christian, anti-war monk, essentially. And I just think it's kind of funny looking back at it.
Look,
Who was
he,
quite the
he knew
ladies'
he
man.
wasn't trying to help him in a way where he was just trying to benefit him. Like, let me give you ways that you can kill people and slaughter people and starve them out quicker. He was trying to change him for the better, right? I think.
Yeah, well, he was trying to prevent, I don't know what the name of the war was, but Russia going to war with Germany again.
World War One.
No, this was a little before
that. Yeah, late 1800s. It wasn't too far, right? They were around the same time, so it wasn't too far from World War One.
Yeah, it was one of those like things that led right up to it.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the problems. The people were walking around, and this is obviously what people think. We have disagreements about the Bolshevik Revolution. Don DeBar would talk about it. There was three different types of people. There were farmers that couldn't get land because Nicholas the Tsar wouldn't let them have the land. He would confiscate, right, and make sure that they couldn't. Their agricultural projects were shit, and their agricultural policies were shit. So there were people walking around, farmers saying, "Give us land." There were peasants who were hungry, "Give us food." And there were soldiers walking around with signs that said, "Give us peace," because they were fighting so many wars, you know what I'm saying? And it really just fucking stretched them thin. And I don't know what if he had any of those, if he could have walked out of those particular wars or got away from them. I don't know. I would like to get some studies in Russia and the Tsars and the wars they fought that led up to his exile of sorts. He got exiled with a fucking.
That's what happens to all the nobles.
All the nobles, because they're not noble. Guys, I see you guys over in the Rumble chat. I want to say hello. Good morning. Enterman Bill hanging out over there. Kalins. Is it Callins or Kalins? I don't know. Whatever. We love you. Come on. Let's let that gypsy. I mean, he's asking, are you Russian? Are you gypsy? They want to know. We need some shares. Let people come on in, ask them, hey, come over here and take a look and see if my friends are Russian or gypsy. Yeah. Guys, let's make a phone call. 561-247-2721. Where the hell is Snorky? Is Snorky sleeping already? We saw Fred was the first in the chat today, so that was kind of cool. Where's Miguel Santiago? Is he sleeping? He's got a show today.
He's probably taking a nap before tonight.
He's an awesome person. He's an awesome person. I'm gonna go see that show tonight too, as well. I'm gonna go have a fun time. Rah rah Rasputin.
Gonna go hit on that bartender.
Yeah, I hope that bartender's there.
Hey man, good on you for trying, for real.
Dude,
we need more love in the world.
When I was younger, I was playing baseball. I had that coach that said, if you get called, if you get called looking at a third strike, like you don't swing and you're called out, you're doing a lap in the next practice. So the moral of the story is don't go down swinging if you're going to go down. Mm-hmm. There are people who die on their deathbed. Not so much. Most people dying on their deathbed don't regret the things they did. They regret the things they didn't do. And when I heard that and the third strike rule, Pasta Jardula will go down swinging. All right.
I like it.
So that bartender, get ready for me tonight. I hope she's there. I forgot her name. That's the next thing. Then I do it. Oh, what's her name at the bar over there? Teresa. Yeah, Teresa said, got to get that name.
So what about the fucking Palantir Secret Society leaks? Have you seen that?
What?
Have you seen that?
No. What is it?
Oh my God. So
it's called Palantir Secret Society.
So it's called Dialogue, I think is the official name. And it is a group formed by Peter Thiel and a couple other people back in 2006, literally 20 years ago. And it's essentially like a Bilderberg, but just Peter Thiel's version of like Bilderberg or the World Economic Forum and stuff like that. So it's and they found the member list in the website, like literally in the source code. Like if you just accidentally click the buttons in your browser and it like pulls that code up on the side, you could dig through there on their website, and it literally just had 113 of their members listed in there
Wow.
for who was a part of this, and it goes all the way to like the Supreme NATO General of Europe and shit like that. It's basically it lists all of the people who worked with Epstein essentially, and there's files that came out in the Epstein releases for what they're worth that show when Epstein was invited to join Dialogue in 2014, and then
So
it
he
gives a
was.
partial member list for the group.
All right, we got a call coming in.
All right. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from?
Yo,
Make sure you mute your YouTube and just listen through your phone.
hello,
Yes. Who is it?
hello,
Hello.
Hello?
yo.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Entenmann Bill finally back.
Entenmann Bill.
I
Did
want
you
to
go
let you know
down,
that
Entenmann
Rasputin
Bill?
special was.
I'm sorry. I was
Yeah,
going to
but
ask if you went to the
Rasputin
New York
special-
parade.
Nah, I'm 50 miles north in Somers.
Yeah.
But that show you did on USS Liberty did not run on BAI here on the radio here in New York. Another show ran, or some woman show at 11.
No, it's going to be run Tuesday. It's on Pasta to Go, and they
Oh.
record it, edit it up, make sure it's cleaned up, boost the voice properly, and
Oh.
then it will be played on Tuesday, next Tuesday on WBAI.
Oh, because I watched it on YouTube. It was excellent. As a matter of fact, I posted and recommended it on Due Dissidence yesterday in the chat.
Thank you so much. That's pretty awesome, man. I might see her tonight too. Gloria Guillo. We're friends. We live very close to each other. We found out on a plane ride in Nicaragua where they took us from the capital, which was Managua, to the what they call the Caribbean coast, and it was one of those small planes. And it was like 8 of us aboard one plane and 7 aboard the other. And it was raining and whatnot. And we were trying to land, and all the fucking lights started going on. Beep, beep. And we're like, what was your name again? Gloria, I'm Pasta. Nice to meet you, man. And we were thinking we were about to go there. At least we, you know what I'm saying? We're like, we're going doing what we love. We obviously lived. But when we got on ground, we talked about, she goes, I live in Boca. I'm like, I just moved back to Boca. And we've been close friends ever since. So, yeah, I'm going to go see. If you haven't seen it, guys, what Bill's talking about is I have a show that I produce called Uncontrolled Opposition. We play the show live on the Pasta to Go Rumble and the Pasta to Go YouTube. But you can catch it on WBAI on Tuesdays. They re-air it. So it's a tape show. Unlike my show, which is a live show. There's not many live shows at WBAI, Bill. I'm one of the few.
I think that's awesome.
Rumble
being
did
on
not
the
run it
radio.
live yesterday. Only YouTube did. I tried both.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
it wasn't
interesting.
live on Rumble, but it was on YouTube.
I'm going to check because it was supposed to be live
yeah, it
on
was
Rumble.
posted afterwards. It was.
Oh,
not.
okay.
I tried. It was on YouTube.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
It was a great show.
What do you, all right, so
Can you get Torney on? Can you get Phil Torney on this show?
yes, probably. If she can get them and Jeremy Kuzmarov can get them, then I can usually get them because we have the same. Obviously, I'm the producer of that show. We have the same. Like I can recommend. I want to get Karen Kwiatkowski on her show so they can put her on the radio too. What do you think about that? What does the USS Liberty tell you about where we're at? I mean, do you have an opinion about it, or
Something
do
was
you want
just
to? If
straight
you
up.
want to
I
talk
mean,
about
LBJ
something
was-
else, we can. But
Well, LBJ was deep involved. Are you kidding? It also with the JFK assassination.
But does it tell you the story, right? So, Exile of the Knights of Malta now, right? He called in last week. They have a theory, right? And there's theories out there, and these are people talking about this. And this is something I bump heads with a lot. People like James Lee, Matt Weinglass, my friend, they feel like at the top of the food chain is Israel calling the shots. They use the U.S. Liberty, right? But I'm more like, what? There's people sitting above the Zionism and all that other shit. Israel's not calling the shots alone because there's all these other Western corporations that make a shit ton of money off war. Smedley Butler, war is a racket. So I believe it goes above Israel. And the reason why I'm quick to point that out is because I think that some people believe that if we excommunicate or get rid of that wart or mole on our ass, which is Israel, then we can just go back. We're captured. We can go back to being okay. That's the problem. I don't believe that, Bill.
No, I don't believe it either. For real, it's literally that's a very, very big symptom, but it is just a symptom of the problem that we have, which is an out of control military and intelligence apparatus. And that's just a side effect of that.
Did you have anything to say about that, Bill? Your thoughts?
No, as long as you're not going to get rid of AIPAC, you're not going to get rid of money in politics, how's anything going to change?
Yeah, I remember 2016, one of the big issues was Citizens United. You know what I mean? Like trying to get that overturned. And then, like, so many terrible things have happened that's not even something that people bring up as a campaign issue anymore.
Yeah. I mean, where we are today, and I'm just getting nervous because I know the Democrats, this whole JCPOA situation, you know what I'm saying, versus what Donald Trump has just negotiated on this MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding. Here they are. They're going to be like, well, we were tougher. We were more strong armed to Iran than you were. We were bigger dicks. We just weren't as vocal as you were. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. I make sure I solve that. Yeah, but you gave them how much money? And, Donald Trump, you used to talk about that shit all the time, that it was such a stupid deal. He ripped it up, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The deal that he signed the other day, now, whether they go through with it or not is another story. But for me, it's more of a win because as a globalist, right, or not one of those globalists, but internationalist, I think that's the proper term. Don't mean I shouldn't be, saying something bad about myself. Somebody who loves this planet, right, and wants to see us succeed. I want Iran to not have to deal with the shit they have to deal with. So the United States closing up their bases and going home, sanctions lifted off Iran, you know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. But the Democrats, and they're already doing it on the mainstream media, they're using it to go and attack Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think I think it ended about as well as the Biden era withdrawal from Afghanistan did.
Yeah.
Leaving that, like, I think it's a good thing that we left both of those in any way, right? But this isn't even over yet. For all we know, all this is a stall to buy time to just produce and bring more missiles over. Because all international treaties are just temporary armistices to allow for rearmament. That's all a treaty is just a temporary.
This ain't even a treaty. It's just this is what we're going to talk about. That's all this is.
It's a memorandum of understanding. It's just more symbolic than anything.
Yeah. If anything, they're probably like, hey, if we give them $300 million, we'll be able to war with them better, or 300 billion. Like we'll give them, the equivalent of their national GDP in whatever fund we want, and then they'll build more shit and we can fight them even better. It'll be even more fun, spend even more bombs.
America.
Go ahead.
America. I'm just glad we didn't bomb them into the Stone Age, for real. Like, I don't care like how
I don't know. They had it pretty good in the Stone Age. They own like half the fucking
that's fair. That's kind of what happened. We're like, we're gonna bomb you back there, and then they were like, we won then.
So do you think that this bill, this is just kind of the memorandum of understanding? Do you kind of agree with Andrew? Did you think this is a stall technique? Or do you think this is...
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, where's Gaza in this? The genocide continues. The West Bank is still destroying olive trees that are 1,000 years old.
Lebanon.
Yeah. Lebanon too. They were bombing Lebanon last night.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's silent because it's the same old at the end of the day. Iran has suspended the entire 60-day negotiation period over the U.S. over direct violation of the MOU's first clause. Israel attacked southern Lebanon, consisting of a breach of less than 24 hours. And
I don't think that's a surprise to anybody.
Who would have saw that coming? I mean... Israel ain't gonna
it
listen
just
to
feels
us
like
unless,
you're
dude.
setting
The only
up
way Israel's
blame.
gonna listen to a damn thing we say is if we cut off all the weapons and money to them. Period.
Yeah, until we
Embargo
cut
that
them
bitch.
off. Until we cut them off, And the thing is,
Well, I think
Go
they
ahead.
know that, right? So they know that their time is coming. That they're not going to have such absolute control. If anything, they'll have like they'll maintain their hegemony, but have some form of resistance more than they do now. Because right now it's basically just a grease trap, right? So I think that's why Israel itself is trying to push so hard towards completing goals of the Greater Israel Project, is because they don't have that opportunity like this again. Like they won't own another president this much for a while, probably.
I don't know. I think they're gonna once again. They're part of the whole cabal. It's the bigger piece where all these other industries are making so much more money and grabbing so much more territory because they get to use Israel as the excuse. You know what I'm saying? I believe that Peter
Look
Thiel.
at Palantir, yeah.
I believe Peter Thiel has more power than Bibi Netanyahu. It's more about the technocrats bringing in the track and trace systems. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I think that Israel, if people are focused on Israel and they want that to happen, I think the Western oligarchs are like, yeah, if they're going to blame Israel for shit, we get to get away with this scot free. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then in World War II, they didn't kill, a bunch of Jewish supremacists. They killed a bunch of everyday Jewish people.
Yeah,
You know
just
what I'm saying?
people.
Which is, yeah, the
They were
Pope.
already in terrible situations to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would literally be like going into like the hood and fucking railing people up on trains and shipping them to be burned.
Yeah.
Or to be slave labor to fucking fund your war effort.
How did the fuck did that happen, too? I mean, if Hitler was with the speeches he was making, why wouldn't he just go after the supremacists? Why would he allow the everyday fucking Jewish person to get slaughtered? Did he kind of say or kind of lead into why he was doing that a little bit?
I haven't. I'm not very fluent in my Hitler.
Either am I. Either am I. Either am I. But when you hear when you hear the Charlie Chaplin speech out there, it was like this doesn't. I mean, he's talking about a certain fucking entity that's running everything and fucking destroying us. Why are you going to go after the little people down below? Why aren't you just going after that entity that's trying to destroy us?
Mm-hmm.
Question. Bill.
Well,
Yeah, I'm still here. By the way, can you get Max Blumenthal on the show? The guy's an encyclopedia. He's the golden boy on Judge Knapp, and I love that guy. He's got the balls to say Gaza Holocaust. That's what he calls it.
Well, let me say this much. I'll do this right here with you, Bill. Max Blumenthal, if you're fucking listening, somebody cut this up or play it to him. You didn't return my last phone call. Now, I got a group, we call them Biker Boys in Nicaragua, and happens to be me, Wyatt Reed, and Max Blumenthal's best friend from growing up, John Allen. You cannot join the Biker Boys if you don't return my phone call. And now you got to come on the show to make up for not returning my phone calls. And I don't want to hear how fucking busy you are. We've broke bread in different countries. That's the way it is, Max Blumenthal. You need to come on the show now. And you're not joining the Biker Boys until you do. That's it. That's it. How about that, Bill?
You tell him Entenman Bill is demanding that he do the show.
Yep.
We'll
You know where
start-
Max Blumenthal came out on his opinions on COVID? On the Truth Wire, which was the Convo Couch. He came out there because he said we were ahead of the curve. I'm like, thank you, Max. And that's a great honor to have Max Blumenthal tell you that. You know what we call him, Bill? We call him Fax Blumenthal.
Right.
Judge Knapp loves him. He calls him the golden boy.
Who does? Judge Knapp. Yeah.
Judge Knapp.
I didn't see Wilkerson on this week. I think he must be traveling.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's usually on with Randy Credico on Fridays on BAI.
You know who really drives me crazy, though, is this what was I going to say? I had a point to make over here. Joe Kent, this love for Joe Kent. I don't see it. Like, the guy is such a neocon in so many ways. Why is it right now people are getting credit like people like Joe Kent, who's talked about how you knew before you joined the fucking administration. You should have known. If you didn't know, you're fucking stupid. that this was the most Zionist administration of all fucking times. We knew our issues with Israel for how long they've gone on before. You know what I'm saying? Like now, all of a sudden, people discovering it, they're getting praised. Oh, like Joe Kent, he's no. Sorry,
He's just he's just your run of the mill neocon, man.
I mean,
That's
I'd give
bad.
him some credit for calling out, like speaking out against the war in Iran. So like,
My
I
problem
don't
is
think
all these people come out when it's safe.
well,
Yeah.
what I was gonna say is I think Whitney Webb was on Jimmy Dore and got asked a really off the cuff question, like not off the cuff, I guess it's literally this conversation about Joe Kent, and her take on it was more unique than anyone's I'd ever heard, and I'd been really thinking about it to where it's just a Hegelian dialectic, right? So there's a group of people that they're classifying or want to classify as extremists, like the Jew hating anti-Israel right-wing conservative, like the part of the MAGA movement that they're trying to remove. And in the era of big data capture, having someone like Joe Kent come out to be the person that attracts the attention and ire of the politically active but like unaware person that still like believes the system can be fixed, to basically create that demographic that they can then like monitor or entice into violence or what have you. So I think it, like, regardless of what Joe Kent's motives are, because I don't want to be like, oh, maybe he's out here doing this because of this plan. It could just be very convenient for people, and they use that Joe Kent coming out because they knew something like that would happen going into it, right? So I don't want to say he is or isn't a part of it because I don't have any information either way. But I think that it is part of a bigger play to create an ideological movement that they are trying to use to justify censorship, if that makes sense.
What you're saying is there's a good possibility he could be controlled opposition.
Yeah, or just a useful idiot, even.
Either way. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you
More
don't
than likely a
have
controlled
to, you don't have
opposition
to be
through the
on the
military.
payroll, but he was literally at the top of an intelligence department. You know what I mean? Like, this is someone that is a spook, going on the platform with other spooks to talk about spook things. So I think that's always important. It's like, a former CIA guy talking to a former CIA guy about how bad this particular issue is, but ignoring everything else.
Is it Sean Ryan, that dude? These people that they promote, I'm saying it. And that's the thing, is that we should be pushing for transparency. When everybody's like, well, what do we do to fix elections? The first thing you got to do is make them as transparent as can be. They have to be publicly verifiable. And the only way they're publicly verifiable and people can get behind them is if they're transparent. Same thing with our media and our social media and stuff. These things should be open source systems. We shouldn't allow these people to say who gets the likes, who gets the dislikes, who gets heard, who doesn't get heard. It's controlling the media, and they're just doing it in such a nefarious ways nowadays because it's done through backdoors and YouTubes, and because they write these algorithms that can slow people down or lift somebody up. And
I remember back in the day where your MySpace feed was literally just chronological, where like a friend would like repost something and it would be at the time that they reposted it, and stuff reposted before that was lower and stuff recently reposted was higher.
Yeah.
And so the internet just shared information, right? Like back in the day when fucking YouTube didn't censor everybody, an average random person could make a video that gets into the top fucking like news trending feeds because it was actually based on like to dislike ratio and watch time and had actual metrics.
Yes, that's important. That's what we need to get back to. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that we should, if they're going to have protections from the government, NDAA Section 220, where you can't be sued, then they should have to show everything. They should have to have an open source system, right? Where we can see what they're doing. Because right now, I suspect they've been doing exactly what they've been doing before, just at a higher level. And that's what the Twitter files were all about. Demonizing the Republicans out there. It was conservatives that were under attack. No. If you're anti-establishment, it doesn't make a difference where you lean. You're going to get attacked if you're anti-establishment, because the establishment has the keys to the kingdom, and they're going to control the narrative.
Mhm.
You know, it's just, you know, it's terrible because they made it look like Dan Bongino was being attacked, and now look at where Dan Bongino is now. Just look at it.
And like with
Doing
Twitter,
this little kicky thing in his chair.
so old Twitter would ban you, right? You'd say something, they just flat out ban you. And then there was most times, a human review process, because this was before the era of like large language models. But now they don't even have to ban you. They literally just turn your fucking account off and like no one sees it. Like you'll be able to DM your buddies and that's it. Like you make a post and it's like 6 views or some shit. And those are probably just bots trying to sell you fucking Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
For real.
And that's
Like,
where
okay,
we're in a
cool.
worse position now.
I'm like,
than we
oh,
were.
look, hot girl with 60 numbers past your name. I'm not
you're
doing
gonna have some
anything.
crazy
This isn't a
DMs when you
Bitcoin
get your
scam.
Twitter account back.
What's that?
You're gonna have some wild DMs when you get your Twitter account back. There's gonna be some like desperate 55-year-old guys that really liked that account.
Where's my Bitcoin?
Yeah, I wouldn't even open your direct messages. Just delete them, man. Just all
Older white dudes that want to talk to me.
Yay? Maybe you don't want that account back.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Dan Bongino, we're talking about him. But that's who they demonized in the Twitter files. You know, and then, you know, they made it look like it was a Republican versus Democrat thing. Conservatives were, you know what I'm saying? The screenshot, not source material, but the screenshots were being shared. It was just really wonky. It looked like a narrative management operation. And I think that Matt Taibbi was the perfect useful idiot for it.
For the Twitter file, I think it's good information. I think looking back, it gives us a blueprint for the era because everything that was happening there was happening in every social media platform. And most people didn't really hear about it until it was either like this person's getting hired as the censorship czar for a department of government that like no one even knew existed. And then the Twitter files, like those were the two things that actually managed to break through about like COVID era censorship. And like to me, I liked watching it because I hate Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's like the supervillain, one of the supervillains in the story, right? She's like that low level supervillain that just gets beat up all the time. And I just think it was crazy seeing her just like crawl out of the fucking woodwork like Russia.
She's the monarch, dude. I'm telling you.
The one thing that sucked though is they made it like it was a biased situation where
well, that's how you keep
conservatives the
people
only
from
ones
actually
getting
caring.
demonetized and censored, and that was a big problem because once the Trump administration came into, you know, power, it was like, okay, problem solved, we can move on. I mean, we're not even talking about internet censorship. So even though it did have some positives, it had some really serious negatives because it was so biased, and it made you believe that just one side was getting demonetized and censored.
Yeah, and not only have people stopped talking about internet censorship, they're fucking making heroes out of people like the dude from Patreon, right? Like the CEO of Patreon that removed so many people's platforms during COVID and Russiagate and all this other bullshit, right? Over this Lego issue where it's like, oh, you know, we support free speech when it's literally like a dude fighting with Mormons about Legos from Mexico, like not that it's not important because all free speech issues are important, but the scale of him saying like, no, we support free speech finally after fucking 15 years of throwing everyone off the platform, like cool, but like hopefully during the next political crisis, Patreon will fucking stand by that position. You know what I mean?
You know they're not gonna.
I know
They're
they
gonna
won't,
do exactly what they're told.
but it's one of those things where like the internet has to be ready to throw that video right back in that dude's face, you know?
Bill, thank you for calling in, brother, and thank you for promoting this show. Any last words?
Oh, by the way, Jimmy Dore had Glenn Greenwald on. Can you get him on? He got actually a good interview.
Glenn has not returned any of my emails or conversations or tried to get in touch with him over the past 7 years. He just won't respond, so I don't know
He's
why.
a hard person to get a hold of. He's very quiet. Even with like all the Assange stuff, he was a very like
He's
you
tough.
have to have a point of contact to talk to him because of how much he's involved in like everything in the world.
And here's the thing. He did a show during the Brazilian elections. I went to Brazil. Now, Bill, as you know, and you just mentioned about Glenn Greenwald, a lot of people will probably back this up. Glenn knows his shit. He's a very fucking smart guy. He's kind of like a Max Blumenthal where he knows his shit and he can explain his point of view. The only time I seen him act sophomoric and a little bit like, Glenn, come on, you can do better than that, was when he was trying to describe the Brazilian election, right? He just didn't know exactly how to explain how it wasn't rigged. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people did not. You know, and that's the thing about elections. The one area where Pasta's the expert is elections, right? And I wanted to go on a show to explain why that Brazilian election was legit. You know, he just didn't sound like he knew what he was talking about it. And it's kind of weird because you know how there's a bunch of gamblers out there that play poker? You ever see the movie Rounders? Bill, have you ever seen Rounders?
No, I haven't seen it, no.
There's a scene in the beginning where Mikey is a college student and he goes into this room and all these judges are playing a game. They're playing poker. And there's a voiceover and he's talking about who this judge is, who that judge is, some of the most brilliant minds in the world. But they were like 6-year-olds playing Candyland for the first time when Mikey was showing them how to play poker. You know what I'm saying? And that really encompasses about, you know, who I am and what I am in this area. You know, like, in other words, you put me in the room with Max Blumenthal and Glenn Greenwald, and they'll talk about history stuff. They'll know so much. But when they talk about poker, via elections, they won't know it like I know it. You're very common. You understand the waters you're swimming in, if that makes any sense. And that's the area. And I really wanted to go on his show to explain why the Brazilian election, why I think it was legit last time. So, I mean, I tried to reach out. That was the last time I tried to reach out to him. And I was like, after that, I kind of gave up. But, you know, maybe we can tweet at him and then get his attention.
Yeah, he's just impossible to get a hold of, for real.
Yeah.
He's probably one of those people that, like, rightly so, thinks there's a whole bunch of feds trying to fuck with him. So he has a very, like, narrow circle.
Because there is.
No, for real. For real. Like, I don't even blame him. Like, he probably has a very narrow circle of people that he trusts and interacts with in a regular manner, you know?
Bill, we love you. Keep promoting. Keep calling in, buddy.
Yep. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Entenmann Bill. Guys, if you haven't ordered your New York Knicks championship jerseys, now's the time. Just kidding. Man, I'm so happy about that. Little pissed at Misty, by the way, if Misty's listening.
Uh-oh.
Misty made a tweet. It showed some idiots in New York. Now, there's like hundreds of thousands of people in the streets of New York. Of course, you're going to have some idiots, right? I don't think we should kind of cast over a whole bunch of group of people what a few people do, especially in sports, right? I mean, I'm sorry. I've been
you know how passionate Misty is about sports.
Whatever, dude. Her and her Ohio State Buckeye bullshit. Whatever. Okay. Hurricanes beat your fucking ass. Don't want to hear about it. But, you know, come on. Please. There's a lot of great Knicks fans. There's assholes in every state. Might be a surprise. New York might even have more assholes than most states. That doesn't really, you know, what's really upsetting to me is this team, right, where, and I had this fight with Matt, too. Matt's like, well, no, it's a bad stain. What's going on? Beating San Antonio Spurs fans up. Yeah, a group of fucking idiots doing it. This particular team with this kid, Jalen Brunson, who was the 33rd pick in the draft, right? Too small, too slow. He literally slipped to the second round. He's the MVP, one of the better players in the leagues. It's a great story. He's the ultimate underdog. The team hasn't won in 53 fucking years, and I don't want to take away from those kids. You know? I'm not going to do it. They deserve every fucking type of praise they get from Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart. All these three guys went to Villanova together. They're known as some of the greatest guys in the leagues. The Knicks even went out and got some culture guys. They got a guy, they call him Grand Theft Alvarado, Jose Alvarado, New York-born Puerto Rican kid. Got him on the team. Got the big cat who's a Dominican, played in New York. So they got a lot of culture. Just a great story, and I'm not going to take away from them. I am so happy for them. I'm happy for myself getting a championship, but For these kids, they deserved it so much. And the way they won things, they were never down. They would be down games 20 points plus and come back and win. It was an amazing story. So I'm sorry about the idiots out there yesterday in New York. New York has idiots. We can't get rid of them all.
Man, you can put 10 people in a room, and
all
there's going to be at least one idiot in there.
What's that, Josh?
I said you could put 10 people in a room, and there's going to be at least one idiot in there.
Yeah. So there were some idiots at the parade, but for the most part, it was a lot of love out there in the streets. A lot of love. Guys, calling in 561-247-2721. That's 561-247-2721. Anything else to say there, Mr. Andrew Zigman?
I got a random question about sports ball.
Sure.
Right. How do you feel about taxpayers subsidizing the building of stadiums and arenas?
Don't like it. Don't
Good.
agree with it at all. Kind of stupid. And it's the same thing that we had with the data centers, right? With Kevin O'Leary going on Tucker. No, we're going to bring you all these jobs in. We're going to do that stuff. So the taxpayer is going to build it to get it there. So just for they can bring you jobs and whatnot. No,
dude, you need like 10 people to run a data center. That's literally how many jobs it makes when it's done being built. Like 10 jobs. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And then they'll argue about this is the same thing they did with pipelines, right? They're going to say, we're going to make all these jobs. And there's like 3 dudes that get hired as state inspectors to check the pipelines. There's like 4 dudes at the pump station. And all of the construction jobs, because once you point that out, that you're like, there's going to be like 10 people that work there, dude. They're going to be like, well, all these construction jobs you're going to get. And what that means is all of the people that we're going to import from out of your community, whether it's your city, state, what have you, to come in and build it. Because it's not like every length of the fucking thing is built by people from that city. You know what I mean? At least with pipelines. And with data centers, it's the same way. They have all these fucking contractors that just send an entire workforce over to go build it. You're not even hiring fucking local contractors for this shit. You know what I mean? Like at most, maybe the local gravel company gets some business and like Home Depot sells some fucking zip ties or something.
Sorry about that. Please continue.
No, you're fine. So the whole fucking, like the whole thing with data centers, man, it just drives me fucking crazy. Like I keep trying to point out that like the Ohio GOP fucking elected a big tech bro to be selected, right? Elected with the little S in parentheses. A fucking big tech bro to be the representative at the same time that voters are going to act to get fucking data center construction banned. Like I just feel like we've reached a point where there's not, like, as people trying to save ourselves, there's not much room left. You know what I mean?
I think the most insidious thing is they renamed their surveillance storage data centers to just data centers, because that's what this is. Mm-hmm. What are they doing there? No, it's not for the AIs. It's to store all this fucking data, man. Like, yeah, I remember when we used to rail against all these big government projects that were making the same thing. They just called it something different, but it was the same purpose. So I don't know. I guess they successfully rebranded.
Yeah.
All right. So I got the clip real quick. And guys, if you want to call in, you know the number. It's 561-247-2721. That's 561-247-2721. I say Bernie Sanders blackjack. Here's the video real quick. I'm going to add it to over here. Let's take a listen. This is Kevin O'Leary and Tucker Carlson. This is kind of like the same theory on stadiums, right? Being built and everything. Who's going to pay the bill?
To stop advancement of technology with the uncertainty it brings has always been a dilemma in capitalism and in America. And it's a fair comment.
How is this capitalism? If taxpayers are paying for some of it, how is that capitalism? That seems...
I think that's no different than building an apartment building downtown in Austin. You can get incentives for that too. And that's just part of how it works. You can debate
How is that capitalism? How is that free market? If politicians are handing you other people's money to do it, how is that capitalism?
Well, capitalism is built into the Constitution, which I think was genius, because it couldn't have even thought that far ahead, was the idea of competition between states. Why is there an exodus out of New York City to Miami, where I live, Why are people leaving New Jersey and Massachusetts and moving into my building? Nobody in my building is from Florida. They're all from other states.
I understand.
And all of these people moving, why? Because they're reaching retirement age, and the environment in these other states is not conducive to their lifestyle when they're
But
being
I think
taxed.
you're making my point for me. You just listed states that use a higher percentage of taxpayer dollars for private industry, and people are leaving those states. Illinois.
Wait.
That wasn't the whole one, man. He goes into it. He starts going after Tucker for this whole thing. It might be underneath here. Let me see. No, I don't see it. But you know what I'm
he's
saying?
got a good point.
That kind of poses the same question that Andrew talked about, though.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
so it's not
capitalism. It's
capitalism,
crony
It's
capitalism.
technocracy. That's the whole thing, right? It's not capitalism, it's not socialism, it's not communism, right? It is technocracy, or whatever ism you want to add to technocracy, because I don't know what the ism, transhumanism, right? It is it's no longer an argument about like, okay, should the state be involved, or should the state give resources to people? Right now it is the state is taking resources, like literal, like the things we need for daily life, water, fucking electricity, right? Like your power company, if you're that little city in Nevada, and diverting that to these people, right? So we're taking the necessities for human life.
It's Nevada.
literally,
Nevada's gonna cut off power to South Lake Tahoe. That's fucking
to a
California.
whole fucking city, because they're gonna just have one customer. And so I don't think it's not capitalism, it's not communism, it's not socialism, it's transhumanism. It is using the human population to build the tools of its own enslavement, whether it's taking away the land that we grow food on, taking away the water that we drink, that's fucking poison to begin with, but better than nothing, and fucking like literally stealing everyone's electricity and making it so that way the quality of everyone's life slowly degrades over 2 generations. So basically to create a society of people that are the breakaway civilization, the Egyptian monarchs of their day, to where wealth is so concentrated that at any moment they could do whatever they want to you. Yeah, feudal lordship. It's techno-feudalism. That's what we're living under. And it really, like for a while there was arguments, right, about capitalism, communism, all these things, but like that's gone. Like we are entering, or have been in, a techno-feudal society for at least 10 years at this point. You know, like you could say probably since the Patriot Act. Like capitalism died in 1913 with the Federal Reserve, and then whatever the hell we had after that died in 2001 with the Patriot Act. And that's when technocracy really like took hold here.
By the way, I got the whole video. Let's take a look real quick, because they get into this whole thing.
Why taxpayers should have to pay for this if it's a private business and your tenants are some of the richest companies in the world? Why would taxpayers be required, as they now are, to subsidize this?
They don't necessarily have to do that. They just won't win any contracts. It's a competition.
But why are you getting tax breaks is my question.
Yeah, everybody, you go back and you say, what incentives can you give us to invest $15 billion in the first 1.5 gigs? That's what it takes. I have to go raise $15 billion.
Well,
that's just
okay, but anyone who starts a business, why should taxpayers have to pony up for that?
They don't. But
well, of course they do. If you're getting a tax break and they're not, they're making up the difference. There's a state budget.
Hey, that's no problem. That's no problem. I can build it in Texas. I can build it in Jacksonville, Mississippi.
But why, if it's such a good business, would you be asking taxpayers to help pay for it without giving them equity in the company? Are you giving taxpayers shares?
No, the investors get the shares. But here's why they would do it.
Why would the taxpayers have to? I mean, in other words, if you want to start a business, but why am I, as a taxpayer, forced to pay for your business? I don't get it.
Well, let's forget about data centers. Let's go any manufacturing. Let's say you're going to build an aluminum sheet manufacturing facility. Mm-hmm. You go to the government there and say, "Look, this is going to huge capex huge capex expenditure. I'm going to hire 2,000 people. I'm going to build a community center. I'm going to pay a lot of tax on the profits in your state when I sell the aluminum, and I'm going to hire all these people who they will also pay tax." And we will build a school because our workers need a school. And what can you give me to incentivize me versus the state right beside you, which is willing to give me an incentive package?
No, I understand. I understand that you're gaming a system in place. You didn't come up with this, but
No,
I'm just trying to understand. So the trade typically is jobs, okay? But these projects don't actually.
Well, no, it's also jobs and taxes because you're going to
and taxes.
Yeah,
but then you're getting a tax break, so that doesn't really make any sense.
But only up front. Tucker, welcome to America, buddy. This is how it's gone on for 200 years.
Okay, well, I don't know. Lots of bad things go on for a while. But I think at some point it's worth assessing, like, why are we doing this? So
you are
on the
fair
job
to do that. You're doing it because there's a competition.
Well, I run a couple of businesses, and we're not getting any tax breaks. I think they're every bit as virtuous as data centers.
It's pretty much the same argument or the question that Andrew asked me as far as, how do you feel about when they hit the taxpayer up? And they do the same thing. We're going to build a stadium. We're going to give all these people jobs. All these people are going to move here. Then we're going to have to build a school. It's going to build a city. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to use taxpayer dollars to go ahead and put up that stadium. Why not just take the taxpayer dollars and give it directly to the people?
Yeah. No, and Fred and Chet.
That's socialism. Well, what are you doing over here? What's this?
Yeah, no, it's fucking wild, man. And it's gotten to the point that it's that bad that Tucker Carlson's covering it, right? Because people I think people should own businesses. Like I've literally am coaching and teaching my children how to think in a way to operate a business. Like it's something we talk about all the time ever since they were little. Every summer, if they want money, what we do is I invest $30 into candy bars. They go and sell the candy bars. They pay me back the $30. They keep the profit and then use it to reinvest in their company to be able to buy more candy bars, to sell more candy bars, to then make their own money out of it. So I think business ownership on a personal level is literally the way the world's supposed to operate. Like the whole idea of mind your own business, I don't think should be to leave people alone, but people should literally fucking have their own businesses. And that shouldn't be fucking controlled by the government, right? That's literally the problem, is that we wouldn't have AI data centers. We wouldn't have artificial intelligence. We wouldn't have Google. We wouldn't have Facebook. We wouldn't have any of these fucking tyrannical corporations if we didn't have fucking InQtel and government funding creating literally every single thing we're fighting against right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think you can obviously be oh, the issue is the Federal Reserve, right? They can give these people money. Yes. I think that the solution is to make people, if you want to do these things, earn your own fucking money to do it and don't take billions. Amazon is basically the whole business is subsidized by the federal fucking government.
Yeah.
That's the model for SpaceX. That's the model for Tesla. It's the model for Raytheon and Boeing and all these. It's just fucking
and the definition of that form of government is actually called fascism.
Yeah. Well,
so corporations and states, they get the checks. They get the socialism, not the regular.
I think it's past that though. It is fascism, the merger of corporate and political power,
a techno feudalism.
But it's to the point that it's no longer the merger. That merger has happened. We've been merged, right? And now we are living through what comes after that has been completely solidified for multiple generations, right? So. And that's why I call it techno-feudalism, because I don't think it's fascism anymore. I think they are going to drain the resources of our societies to the point that, if you have air conditioning, that's a fucking not even a luxury, but you are the wealthiest of the wealthy because you can afford to run an air conditioner. You know what I mean? Just because the electrical cost will be so expensive. But the one thing I will say, as terrible as it is, because we got to deal with it. It's here. They're building nuclear reactors for some of these places, or at least trying to. And I think, and computing power will eventually become smaller, right? These massive AI fucking data centers are literally the joke computers from the fucking early era of computing, when they had an entire building that was less powerful than my cell phone or the computer I'm sitting here talking to people on. So
Yeah.
I think that the scale and power usage of them will go down over time. And if we are going to be dealing with them, I think the one benefit is we're going to have decentralized nuclear power. If they do end up, like if we can't stop them from doing this, I think one of the few positive outcomes is having a better power system overall. But I don't think we're going to be able to use it.
There's a couple of things I'd like to talk about today. We were talking about data centers, energy, techno-feudalism, fascism, all that good stuff. What came first, the chicken or the egg? What position is Israel in? Are they on top? Or are they just following orders? We were following orders. Are the technocrats in charge? Who has more power, Peter Thiel or Bibi Netanyahu? Also, the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. We're getting news that it's already being suspended. And today is Friday. It was supposed to be signed today in Switzerland, right? Or Sweden, or where? One of those two? Was it Switzerland?
It's Switzerland.
Who knows
Probably
what's going on with that?
They didn't want the optics of going to Qatar.
What's that?
Probably because they didn't want the optics of going to Qatar. Because Qatar is like the new Switzerland, essentially.
I don't know. People went to Qatar
ready,
for some talks, and the next thing you know, bombs were hitting over there.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
MOU. Let's take a look and see what it's saying right now.
We've got a snork on the phone.
Let's get a snork on the phone.
Okay.
I'm going to step out real quick. I'll be
Go
back
ahead.
in 2 seconds. I'm
On
sorry.
the data centers, power, nuclear power, whatever. The problems we're having is we're kind of switching right now from optical-based computers, from basically electron-based computers to optically-based computer systems. They're pretty much in their infancy. I don't really expect massive changes in their size. So one of the problems they're having, I had a lot of students that went into data center work, and they're just pushing the machines so hard that there is an extreme shortage of people who can work on them. So the repairs are difficult to make. A lot of people in the U.S. are not trained for it, and a lot of the schools that actually do provide the training are being shut down. Originally they were looking to use a lot of H-1B people to come in and do these repairs.
Where the visas at?
And that means, what's that?
I was going to say where the HB1 visas at.
Yeah. And then, but our problem was always speed. I can remember even back 4 years ago, we had a problem where we were trying to do controls, and the speeds that we were working at, we had problems. We would calculate out how far, an electron would need to go to make a control be working at the same time a quarter mile away, because there's a distance you have. And we're used to thinking of that as a very small part of time. But on the machine world, when we're trying to, that's a huge wait for something to happen. Then on the nuclear power, nuclear power, we have a lot of nuclear power that we waste. So we got a lot of benefits that weren't just for making power when we had nuclear power plants. We had the medical benefits coming off. We also had special materials that the nuclear power produced. On our space projects that we had to do, we were limited into how many times that we would have a special isotopes of plutonium produced, and they basically needed the production value of nuclear power plants to be able just to have enough of that made, because it was like it was almost like a roll of the dice. You'd have to wait till the dice rolled that many times so you got one of those atoms coming out. And we actually, in the past, had to shut down space projects because, what's vice president? Second Bush's vice president needed a new heart.
and he was tired of having his heart replaced. So he took the supply of that plutonium isotope that was going to be used for spacecraft, and he had them make a new artificial pacemaker for him so that it would last him the rest of his life. And so our abilities to power things and get going, and to me, one of the we have issues whenever we're doing everything. We think of money, we think of our usage and how things are going, but there are 7 aspects to everything. It's man, machine, method, or project, or different things that are going on with our resources availability and things like that. And the problem we have is also people. Is that we always think of all of our projects as everything working perfect. And we have to also think of what can go wrong. And I'm not just talking about meltdowns and stuff like that. Terrorism is the biggest thing. The more we have micro-sized power plants, the more we are making basically convenience stores for terrorists to go out and get supplies. And I've had to turn down some projects because I thought this puts nuclear material in an unsafe place. And that's just not something that I think should happen. And also the nuclear stuff does not stop making power as soon as we shut down the nuclear reactor. That the tailings keep on making power and giving off heat for centuries. But we only consider the amount of power that's used that can make us large amounts of money or large amounts of byproducts. And we don't think about that. I made one battery using some nuclear material. It would have lasted, it was about the size of a double A battery, and it would have lasted about 127 years. And, actually, I was at a facility that actually had an NRC license, so I wasn't doing it in my basement.
Could I ask you a stupid question? Like a really
Sure.
ignorant question?
I'm going to go off screen real quick. You guys continue the conversation. I'll be right back.
While we talk about it. So how do you, because I know like a nuclear power plant uses the like atomic reactions to generate heat to boil water, right? That's like how a nuclear power plant works. So how do you turn that into a battery? Because I don't know how you would extract that power that it generates, the heat that it generates, and turn it into like an electrical energy anyway, aside from like producing steam.
It's like a RT. You can extract power.
No, it's a wonderful question because that's what we're all taught. And we get lots of our stuff by what we hear. And a lot of people haven't even heard that much. But the truth is, nuclear power isn't just heat.
Okay.
When we're working with some of these isotopes, it can actually produce electricity directly.
Okay.
And it's very small amounts. So this battery was not strong, but it was a battery that made power for a very long time. So if it needed a little bit of power, and this used basically an alpha decay. And so our different types of reactors we talk about. I'm sorry, I've got people trying to sleep by me. Different type of reactors. We only hear about fusion and fission. We never hear about radioactive isotope decay generators. The Soviet Union, when it collapsed, one of the problems they had was there was 5,000 of these generators that were used all throughout the areas of Russia that they couldn't really.
They're still finding those, by the way. Like out in the middle of nowhere, they'll find like an old ass RTG, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get this decommissioned. It's falling apart."
So I have another question.
What happens is they usually find the dead body, and then they figure out that that's what happened.
Could you take one of those small nuclear batteries that you're talking about and pass it through, I don't know, like a house-sized transformer to amplify the power that it creates? Like, is there a way to do that with that power? So that way you have such a small amount of nuclear material that you can then amplify?
No, but I was only using a small amount of material. We have hundreds of tons of this material. And it's like I said, like the WIPP, we were trying to find ways to hide it underground and just put it away for centuries. And pretend it wasn't exist, go out and get some new stuff and start making on. When we stopped making so many nuclear reactors, our supplies of materials went way down. But again, our risks that we talk about, we never talked about any problems that could be. It was just like when you have a new project that's going to bring in billions, we only talk about the benefits that they want right off, and usually it's money. And since a lot of our projects that needed the exotic materials didn't exist, some of the materials are really fun. I got to go to a company that made toys in Denmark. You guys can kind of figure out what it was. And we actually used some isotopes from a reactor that were safe, but it took any radiation we threw at it and turned it into like blue light or orange light. And we tried to use that to tell our toys. And they didn't put that out to the public. They just tested it, but it was fun. So there's all kinds of materials we talk about, but we never talk about the dangers. We never talk about, and I've never heard anybody talk about problems of radiation leaving a facility and bouncing off humidity in the air and affecting the area around it. So that's one of my areas, and we don't even discuss that. And it's basically, I need this nuclear power reactor to get this going. So, and then with our electrical, you got back in there, we also can use much lower. We used to always, when we were using heat to power something, we were making steam. Now you mentioned RTGs, so at least you guys somebody knows something about RTGs. RTGs do not make steam. So the RTG are thermal, but they use, like, you mix several chemicals together. And I'm trying not to get too technical, but you have some materials that transport heat or electricity through electrons, and you have the others that transmit the power through the absence of electrons. And we never talk about holes, because holes are a different concept and get out there. They're real. They're our basis of everything we have that's working, all of our semiconductors. But we found out that the holes are where the heat goes. So we can have power going in one direction, and we can have heat going in the opposite direction. And so RTGs use that material in alternating layers, and that's how we powered the Voyagers. And I actually, for a project at school, I took the Voyager and converted them to run on manure instead of running on nuclear power. So there's all kinds of things that we're looking at, and I actually feel like going back and revisiting that project now that I'm by myself.
And don't you love the way?
Not that I want.
Don't you love the way the show is all about, like, we talk about governance and society and rulers and different forms of type of government, whatnot, and then Snorky comes walking on in here and drops fucking science on us.
I love it, for real.
Like, it's like,
he's in my wheelhouse though. So
because it's compatible, because we always think that things are done by someone's permission or approving of it or ordering it. Well, sometimes there's a little quagmire called science that gets in the fucking way. So even though a government wants to do X, Y, and Z, can it be done? Well, that's what the Professor Snorky does. He comes and explains that it can or it can't be done. I'm interested in his position on the bio labs in fucking Ukraine.
Yeah, and we don't talk about where all the biolabs. we might talk about the ones that are in Ukraine. What I'm more upset is that we're putting biolabs in areas that are in possibly unethical situations.
Yeah.
Why are we putting them in that area if we think the people are unstable or anything else like that? To
Well,
me,
I think it's
I'd want a
intentional.
biolab to be, yeah.
I was going to say, I think it's intentional to provoke those issues and to build those problems, right? Like for bioengineering, you can do bioengineering if you do it in a country that it's legal to do it in, right? If you do it here, it's illegal. But if you go to fucking, I don't know, some country in the middle of Africa or some like random like Eastern European nation, you can just put whatever you want in there because you own it all,
if
right?
you get into the country with your military, let's say like a country like Honduras, and you put a dictator in power, you know, you game their elections, you get your little stooge, and he's in Honduras. You can get him to sign off on autonomous zones in that country. One of them called Prosperer, where they could do those biolabs and those weapons testings and all that other shit they would normally be illegal. And when the new government gets in play, that's a more representative of the people. They're already stuck with something that was left behind from the fucking previous government, which was just a United States puppet. And that government's going, what the fuck? You know, and now like the United States legitimately can step in and fuck with that government because they're breaking UN treaties and everything that was passed in a puppet government stage. If you haven't heard of Prosperer, go look it up, guys.
Prosperer?
Well, yeah,
Prosperer. Go ahead, Snorky.
And somebody in the chat brought up the biolab leak in Maryland, Katie. And we've had a lot of bio leaks. I mean, some of our early stuff, what is it? That makes milk pink, I think. That was from a lab leak of some experiment from almost a century ago, and we don't hear about that so often until so many generations have gone by. I didn't get called in for a lot of bio work. Usually, if they needed some kind of device to exit, I would get involved. And again, usually I only got involved if there was some kind of weird problem. But the issues we had here in the United States were when we'd come up with a new concept, we would need 10 years of preparation before we even could do an experiment. Where the biolabs, if you go into an area that is somewhat unethical, or you might be able to bribe somebody and immediately get their test done. And I'm not saying any company I did that, but you can see all kinds of things that we've arranged to have done, like in Africa, where we had biolabs where they could easily use people that would go do a test that could be life-threatening, but they would do it for 5 cents. And here, you know, we would be talking almost an Andromeda level facility to do a research in. So you have to think again, back off and start looking through what are our reasons for doing any kind of project, and what are the problems we will encounter. Hopefully I didn't get too hard. I tried not to get too.
I know too scientific. You did.
Hey, I appreciate the technical stuff because I have like a really vulgar understanding of how things work. So I think it's really cool. Like I didn't know you could generate nuclear power just from the material itself. I thought it had to have that Boyle reaction, right? So like I appreciate that because
no,
I'm never going to be. Able to
and there's other ways
that,
too.
You know what I mean?
One of the ones I'm working on is kind of related to that, but it's not nuclear. So there are all kinds of materials on the periodic chart. And what I had the fun of doing, and I guess I can thank Hillary Clinton because of her and Bill's penchant for shutting down all manufacturing in the United States. I got to work at 10 different companies. And every time I want to get shut down and moved offshore, I'd have to go to another to learn new technologies. But on the periodic chart, especially when we get down to those lower levels, those extra rows that are down at the bottom, every one of them has a special special traits that they have, and really wonderful things that they can do, but we don't talk about them much. There's very little training on it, very few people experienced in those areas. But like I said, every one of them has really cool experiences, and there are different ways to use power through them. And I'm actually looking a lot into what's called magnetocaloric, where it's a new phase. So we used to generate electricity through movements of magnets and wires, and that's mechanical, or electromechanical. And this new one is really important because, especially in our data centers, our being able to move and change heat is so important by how we're able to take heat and change heat into electricity. And I think it'll be a huge career. But the first thing we have to do is we do have to start educating in the United States again. We have some really horrific education things coming up. And if it's going to take us a while to reverse it, and we have to start thinking about when we used to make things, we would also sometimes have problems at a factory, and we would have people fix the problems so we could get good product out. So sometimes repairs are necessary, and sometimes little contingency steps are necessary. In our current education system, we don't have a lot of contingencies built in. So our students make it through. If they fail any given sector that they need more help in, we don't give it.
Yeah.
And we need to step back and stop thinking about, what do we need to do to get the students in, get them through, get them out? And we have to start thinking about, maybe a 4-year degree isn't the right way. Maybe for kids that are from one area that doesn't have exposure, that we have an extra year of school for remediation. So after you've gone to all your different grade schools and whatever, an extra year of college where you get to your school, you cover the areas that each individual school did not cover well. And we start basing our school off of how you did on that recovery or remediation. If you didn't need it, you go right on through. But
Snorky.
The second year of high school.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I just wanted to clarify that we're talking about like a middle step between like when you end high school and before you're allowed to like enter college.
But can I make a comment on that to both you guys real quick? And I think you probably already know this too as well. When people talk to me about elections and they're like, hey man, can you look at this election system I invented, right? Like I created, and like, just look how it works and whatnot. And I'm like, no. And they're like, why won't you do that? I'm like, because you're actually presenting a solution to the people who purposely created the problem. They don't want the solution, right? Like you pointed out the fact too as well, like schooling is an issue. Like it's what George Carlin said. They created a society where they don't want people smart enough to sit around a table together and figure out who and why is screwing them, right? Why and who is screwing them. Instead, they want people just smart enough to push the buttons and the brooms to get up and go over and do it over and over again. That's the society they've created. They've dumbed down the schooling system. So even though you pointed it out, you know, they might act like, wow, well, thank you for pointing out the problem, Professor Snorky. They're the ones who created it, and they created it on purpose. It's by design, you know, and I think that's why when you come to the show, it's so great because, you know, like they say a college degree is worth a high school degree was 50 years ago. Well, why is that? Why are we here now that, you know, why was my parents' high school degree almost equivalent to a college degree today? That's the question we should be fucking asking ourselves in the first place. And it all boils back down to the shit we talk about on the show. You know, you bring the science to the table. This person wants that done, that society wants this done. This is best for humanity. But okay, what about the science that's involved? Sometimes we forget that and we just look at who's making the decisions, not how that thing is going to play out. Well, we're in a system, we're in a court system where it's all by fucking design that people are dumbed down this much. And it doesn't surprise me when you tell me, and it's very interesting too, when Bill and Hillary Clinton, right, the NAFTA was created, how you had to go around. You can almost kind of present evidence of how it was after NAFTA. So it is a two-way street, and I think it's great because we do sometimes forget the science, but we're dumbed down by design, and that's why we're in the system and we have the problems we have. They're the problems that they want to have.
Yeah, I would get about 2 students a year who could not read
That's
in
crazy.
the high schools, grade schools, whatever. They're not allowed to give them a bad grade if they can't read. That's considered discrimination.
Yeah, I have a friend.
And
I have a friend who has a child that's really, really smart. She needs to go to a gifted school instead, right? So by that being said, she's not challenged. So she plays hooky, doesn't go to school, doesn't fucking try. And, it's elementary school. And my friend's like, yeah, we're going to the graduation. I'm like, oh, I'm glad to see that person graduated. He goes, you almost got to kill a fucking principal to get left behind nowadays. Like, what you got to do to get left behind today is forget about it. They push you through no matter what. So it doesn't surprise me that you ended up with a student that can't read. You got to kill the principal to fucking get to fail that grade nowadays.
And so I think we need to build an alternative private school network, right? Like whether it's our own versions of charter schools or what have you, because I was thinking about putting my kids into private school for a period of time, right? Like whether it's one of the Christian schools or what have you nearby. And ultimately the thing I was thinking about is none of them are going to teach the truth about 9/11, right? None of them are going to teach the truth about all of these historical events and things that happen. And so I don't think that there's much redemption for any sides of these systems. And I think everyone should just use Ron Paul's homeschool curriculum. And that's where everyone.
I'm not worried about that, though. I think the kids can figure it out if we get them to think for themselves. They'll figure it out. They'll have their own opinions. It's the shit that Snorky's got to teach that they're not going to fucking learn. You know what I'm saying? Science is fucking important. I hated science. Yeah, but it's important, man. That's the shit that you just can't figure out on yourself. There's a whole fucking history of people fucking experimenting to get you to a certain spot. And if that is eliminated, right, I think kids will know, all right, they're lying to me about the Bolshevik Revolution, or they're lying about World War II, or let me figure this out for myself. We really aren't like Captain America, the United States going around fighting for human decency and human rights. No, they'll figure that out. That's a bullshit that's given to them. But science is a different fucking level. And Snork's pointing out he's pointing out a problem with fucking humanity.
But Pasta, Brondo's got what bodies need. It's got electrolytes.
Snork, put a bow and a cherry on top, because we got to get out of here at 15 minutes earlier today because I have to take my mom to the doctor. But, man, I so much appreciate you being part of the show and calling in and educating me every single fucking show.
Always a pleasure.
All right, thanks. I'll see
Love
you guys.
Snorky.
Thank you, buddy.
From the great state of Iowa. What's up, Bob of Atlantis? I was talking about you earlier when you weren't here. You slept in today, I can see, and just got here a little bit late. Guys, I talked earlier today about loving and respecting each other in the chat as much as you can. I can't.
He got the reference.
What plants? It's got what plants crave.
I'm telling you, dude. We are 5 minutes from watering our crops with Gatorade, dude. I'm telling you.
I don't remember who I was listening to, but I was listening to some show, and they were joking about how we teach, or used to teach at least in school, things like Animal Farm and 1984 and those dystopian futures. But schools need to also include in that, or whoever, right, parents educating their children, idiocracy, because it is a very serious, real threat to human society, as much as the Orwellian state. You know what I mean?
We're like Project Warp Speed for idiocracy. I'm telling you, dude.
I'm mad that we gotta have to do a movie now with idiocracy. Karen Kwiatkowski talks about it all the time. I'm mad that they lied to me about history in school, but I'm not half as mad as them not teaching me how to write a check and how a bank account works, right? That's the shit that pisses me off. Why don't you teach people that shit? Oh, You don't want them figuring out the hamster wheel that you're going to put them into. So that's all what school is about, is getting ready for the hamster wheel.
Yeah, I was lucky, man. I had a grandmother that taught me that shit at a young age.
Right? I'm like, why didn't they ever
taught me
teach
how to
you?
balance a checkbook, all that shit, dude. Like,
They taught me how to write a check, but they didn't tell me what you know what I'm saying? They didn't tell me how the check and the money system works, and very little of that shit. That you know what I'm saying? They're not.
no,
That's
dude.
why home ec.
They don't
No
teach
home
you any
ec.
life
That's
skills.
bullshit too. That's
They don't
bullshit
teach you
too.
basic. Dude, most kids, they can't even like put together like a crappy little meal, dude. Like,
No,
it's crazy.
they can order.
Even my
order
daughter,
Uber
like
Eats, though.
I can cook, and I still can't get her to cook.
They can.
I
They
like-
can
like
order
they've
off
done
Uber
them
Eats.
down.
We started doing this goofy little project where we do like word prompts, right? And at the very first day of summer, I had my younger daughter write out a 2-paragraph story using 8 different words and like a theme, essentially, right? And over the course of the last like 3 weeks, 2 weeks that we've been on summer vacation, I have her taking each sentence and turning each sentence into 2 paragraphs. So she has a like 10 sentence, 12 sentence little story, and then builds on every sentence and has to make those 2 paragraphs what happens in that sentence using 8 different word prompts and a whole nother theme. So like we can do it, just like fuck the government. Like you can't trust those people, to do anything.
Yeah. You're an awesome fucking dad.
I try, man. It's like there was a
hard.
point where I wasn't, like I think every dad could say that, but like that's
Dude,
my
no,
whole life. Like I don't
no.
date, I don't even hang out with my buddies much. I don't even play video games. I just kick it with my kids all of the time.
Yeah.
Like that's
You
just
became
like,
a dad at a really young age, so no, dude, no one expects perfection
Yeah.
from a new dad, dude. It's just the way it
Is
is.
mom
Like,
still in the
you
picture?
can learn as you go, man.
mhm.
Mom's still in the picture.
We're divorced and stuff, but like she's doing great. Like I got no complaints. Like
That's
we're not
cool.
like
I didn't know that. I never really got into that part of your private life. Sorry for
Yeah.
asking you that on the stream.
Oh,
Too.
it don't matter, man. It don't bug me.
I don't play video games either, if that means anything. You know what I'm saying? I get
I
distracted.
love video games, but just like for some reason lately, I just can't. Like everything just makes me mad because like all video games are is just a pile of human decisions, right? So like every little thing, like every single thing in a game is a human decision for the most part. So for me, like when something's in there, it is intentional. And so I just get really mad when there's just like bullshit baked in there. And I'm just like someone decided to do this. Like I don't know. It's just weird.
Well,
But I just,
Man,
what I was going to
play
say is that
factory games, man.
yeah. No, like I went back and downloaded like all the old Sonic games from the Dreamcast and have been replaying those.
Well, what I'm still trying to say, and I'm going to say it, is that I don't have the distractions of a children. Like I didn't have, I don't have children to take care of. So, but I still don't play video games. I have different distractions. It's called sushi and dating. Takes up a lot of fucking time.
You need kids, man. You need kids. You'd be a great
Kids are
dad.
great, man.
I don't know. I
just
kind of like
that's
what I
the
get to
whole
do.
the
I
whole
don't know,
point
man.
of all
You'd be a good dad, Pasta.
I'm sure I would be, but I'm a fun date. I like food. I like dancing. I like music. I like traveling. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and you get to do all that with kids. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's different.
I mean, it is.
Like, I don't
but-
need that
natural
ball and
thing to
chain,
do,
Andrew.
A lot of shit I don't want the kids around. Nah.
Yeah.
So you're not a good salesman.
I know.
Not for
I'm a
that
terrible salesman. I'm horrible.
Guys, if you want to call in, 561-247-2721. 561-247-2721. That's Bernie Sanders blackjack. You ever play any blackjack?
I do. With my kids, actually. We just bought a poker set and I've been teaching them how to play.
Shit. That's
They
the
love
funny thing. Like rounders to me is like people are like, why did you excel so much in elections? Well, first of all, there's the desire and the want and the understanding that if we are going to have a democracy, the people's choice, power of the people, then the system that gives us that democracy or those choices of the people has to be sound and fit, right? But then there's the aspect of it's just a game. It's a contest. This person versus that person, right? So I played so much poker because I grew up in a bookmaker's. My grandfather was a bookmaker. Gambling was my problem. Like I had to knock that shit down when I was young. I mean, I remember being a young man working in a restaurant and just having to work extra overtime just to pay the fucking bookie off, right? When I was punished, it seemed like a fucking hole, just a hole that took me forever to dig out of. Like I remember like 6 to 8 weeks of just nonstop bullshit just to get back to even. And when I won, that fun only lasted like 2-3 days, right? Let's go to Mexico, woo! And then 2-3 days later, it's like, all right, that's the big hit I had. That shit's gone already. So eventually, that's what made me come around. But in that world, when I compared it to elections, it was like it just fit. It was the perfect fit. It's where you couldn't even go, okay, Max Blumenthal, you're a scholar. Look at these elections. Pasta, you're an ex-poker player. Look at these elections. I'm going to be more understanding and better at it. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different breed. And Italian Americans were always plugged into gambling and sports and knew what was going on. So it's kind of like the game within the game. It's not snorky science. It's fucking bookmaking.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Love you guys all. Sorry, I just go on these rants. By the way, Rumble's kicking YouTube's ass today, 23-19. It wasn't always like that, but it's like that right now. What else you got, Andrew? Anything good? Anything fun?
No, not particularly. Just been
We've
going
come to that dead air space in the show. But we are going to end a little bit earlier today because I do have to get Mom to the doctor. So we're going to end in about 4 or 5 minutes, Oh, I brought this here real quickly. Let's see here. Prosperer. Remember, you don't know about this? Josh, do you know about Prosperer? Prospera?
Nah.
Okay. So, Jesus, this is so crazy. Has anybody heard about Honduras Gate? Anybody in the chat heard about Honduras Gate?
I've heard the term.
Okay.
Oh, was that that weird thing that you and Fee were talking about the other week?
We have talked about it before. Okay. So this is how fucked up and entrenched the United States government is in Latin America, right? Like this is another reason, right? Like, okay, I'm one of the big issues I have. I'm pro-immigrant, right? Like people are you open borders guy? I'm like, I don't even know what that really means. If you want to have like a Ellis Island type of immigration system where at least you check people in or whatever, fine, okay. But I welcome and warm up to immigrants coming into this country. We're a land of immigrants. We're all from immigrants. My people came here. They were called WAPs, without papers, Italians, but they were allowed to come in. We didn't know where they were coming from. The United States didn't know that. They let them in. They became part of the United States culture and helped build this place. And it's a beautiful story. And I don't understand why my family members now are denying the immigrant today, right? That same story. But the thing is, it's also about being individually responsible, right? But in the government sense, if you're going to go in and you're going to go into these countries, destabilize them by picking your own puppet leaders, extracting their resources, so you can, and you keep those countries poor, so you can extract those resources for pennies on the dollars. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to be responsible for the people who come here. So we have a whole history, and this is all documented by the CIA. There's coups, there's books written about this thing. We go down and we fuck around in these countries. Now, one of the guys, and Fred and I, we would talk about this. Fred knows about this story. Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was part of the drug trade. And that means they were connected somehow with the CIA and the DEA. But we didn't, the marketing was he was a drug dealer. Him and his brother brought in tons and tons of cocaine to the United States. He also was the choice to be the Honduran president when the United States under Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama removed the leader, Manuel Zelaya, from the country to put in their own puppet government. This is what I'm talking about. It's a whole fucking club and you ain't in it. Don't try to tell me there's a difference between Barack Obama and fucking Donald Trump. They're the fucking same. The Hillary Clinton administration, when she was Secretary of State, under Barack Obama, installed the puppet government of Juan Orlando Hernandez, who happened to be a drug trafficker. Okay, he's the president. Eventually, they get rid of him. I've gone to the Honduras election when they got rid of him. But while he was the president and Donald Trump was the president, right, of Honduras, whatnot, they made deals together. And they started this place, these autonomous zones, called, and one of them is called Prospera. So it's right off the Honduranian north coast over there, I believe, and it's a little small island. And during Juan Orlando Hernandez's first election, and then he won an election that it was cheated, and Donald Trump backed that election, right? During that first administration of Donald Trump got the United States and everybody to sign off on this place called Prospera. So now it's part of Honduras. When the old government, the old regime came back into play, they were like, what the fuck is this shit? They're doing all these experiments over there. Like you said with the biolabs, if you find a country that it's legal to do it in, then you can get it done. Well, to make it look like there were a land of justice and what's right or wrong, they jailed Juan Orlando Hernandez. Donald Trump came back in for his second administration. He just pardoned him. And now he's talking about going back and getting back into power in Honduras. They grabbed a phone call. They've all been working fucking together. This is the elites, the CIA, fucking these little puppet guys like Juan Orlando Hernandez. They're all in the same fucking bed together. It wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Barack Obama putting him in fucking office. So now Honduras, well, they just changed leadership again. Now we don't know where this guy is. He's middle of the road. But the last presidency was Xiomara Castro, who happened to be the wife of Manuel Zelaya, the guy they couped and removed, the socialist secular leader who was using their resources to enrich the people in the middle class and build a middle class over there.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're talking. They got a hold of a phone call. He's getting ready to go back there. It's all fucking connected. But the people of Honduras are left with these autonomous zones where they do these things. Take a look at this. This tells a little bit about Prospera and what it's all about.
The answer to stopping illegal immigration into the U.S. This guy says he's found the answer to stopping illegal immigration into the U.S.
He's hoping his new project in Honduras will help attract capital and encourage development, discouraging economic emigration.
This is Prospera, and its founder says it's the world's most ambitious experiment in self-governance. Located on the island of Roatan, the community has become a magnet for Silicon billionaires, libertarians, and entrepreneurs. It's called a prosperity zone, where private corporations run services instead of the local government. Incentives like tax breaks will hopefully bring businesses back. Proponents say the project is a poverty relief initiative. Eric Brimman came up with the idea in 2014. He even pitched it to Donald Trump in 2016, alongside other conservative thinkers. In their view, the U.S. was headed toward economic collapse.
And he wanted to prevent the mass migration crisis we've seen in Venezuela from happening in Honduras.
But in the village of Crawfish Rock nearby, the locals are angry. The population of Roatan has grown fivefold over the last 20 years. They need more roads, a bigger highway, and a better police station. And because of legal protections, Prospera residents will pay none of these taxes themselves. So the locals are fighting back. President Castro opposes Prospera, and her administration has moved to overturn the law that has allowed this arrangement with foreign companies. Prospera and Honduras are now locked in a legal battle. They say they're trying to enable development that will help the people by creating jobs and supercharge the economy. But the locals worry that the New Age city will continue to grow and develop on their land, taking away their homes and causing environmental damage. Several similar projects across the world are looking to Prospera. They want to know what went wrong and how to avoid the same problem. This guy says he's found the answer to stopping illegal immigration into the U.S.
That's wild.
And they made it all about like illegal immigration. Once again, I don't know what it is with fucking Republicans and illegal immigration.
Yeah.
It's so fucking.
Well, it's how you sell it, right?
I mean, you didn't
It's
even have to plug that point in. Like, it's just like, all right, stop telling us what he's fucking doing, whatever, trying to justify it. Just tell us what Prospera is. But it's its own autonomous zone. And you saw Xiomara Castro, who was the wife of Manuel Zelaya. And I went for that election when they got back into power. And I can tell you this, it's not a monolith, but people on the right and the left in Honduras wanted this fucking guy, Juan Orlando Hernandez, gone. They wanted him gone. Fuck it. They were like, you know what I'm saying? So they put back in the Castros, the Zelayas, and she's like, what the fuck is this stuff? Could you see how they kind of hinted at they pitched it to Donald Trump? Yeah, it was during his first administration with this government to create this autonomous zone in a fucking other country. Of course, they put it on libertarians too as well. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they're just trying to build a new state, right? Because that's essentially how Israel started over in the Middle East, and I don't know, late 20th or late 20th century, late 18th, 19th century, was as an autonomous state, as basically an anarcho colony. What?
Do we have a caller?
No, it's my OBS has crashed out. And I don't want to close it because it'll.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Andrew. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. That was rude of me. I thought we had a caller waiting.
Okay.
No, my OBS wigged out, and I haven't closed it yet. So just ignore that.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, autonomous zones and stuff. That is how Israel got started, was by basically Zionist anarchists claiming an autonomous zone in the middle of Palestine that later during World War I received support from the British government with the Balfour Declaration. So places like that are extremely dangerous. Like, not that I want government, right? But when you have government say, okay, we're going to hand this power specifically to these people, and now we don't have government, that's where the problems come into. Is because they basically said, hey, these are your new feudal lords. Because, like, to me, that's a test of techno-feudalism, right? The corporations running everything, sucking resources from the indigenous community to build a breakaway civilization, right? So it's like it could be seen as this model, but I see it as like at least from that, as like a transhumanistic model, right? Yeah. It's like the crypto bros' ability to try to build a new state inside of a state.
Not all governments are perfect, but some governments are necessary. Let them know where they can find you, Mr. Andrew Zigman. We're getting out of here right now.
You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Zigman. That's about it.
Love you, brother. I have such a great time with you. I'm glad you're sticking with this with me. Nobody's quit on me yet. Everybody's having a great time. Every single one of my co-hosts is really embracing it, and I'm embracing them. And, you know, I love you as a person, not just as a co-host doing this with me. And I can't wait to see you, brother, and break bread and just hug and give you a big kiss through that gnome fucking hair of yours and shit. But
I love you too, buddy. Fuck. I keep teasing my kids that I'm going to shave my head bald. They're just going to.
Oh my god!
It's going to be a cue ball.
You guys keep saying, like, what do you call them? Omnish Jesus Christ, or what did he call them?
Jesus.
Rasputin Jesus. To me, he looks like fucking the live version of Captain Caveman. Like fucking A.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Captain Caveman. I love you, Andrew. We'll see you next Friday. Stay in touch. Let's have a good conversation just about life.
Absolutely, and I'll grab a link real quick to the leak about dialogue for everyone that's still in chat.
Oh yeah. Listen. Look, that's the argument right now. What role is Israel playing? And there are people out there saying that Israel is the top of the fucking mountain. And they're almost making it look like America's a victim. Look why all these people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and Dan Bilzerian are getting all this fucking play and stuff like that, because they're going to sheep herd you back into the capitalistic empire. Once again, I'm not an anti-capitalist because I love markets and I think it's great and everything, but we need good balance, right? We're one species on one planet. We got to play nicely together. We got to figure that out. But I don't believe it. Like I believe the technocrats sit above Israel. I believe that Peter Thiel and Larry Ellison have more say or are controlling more of what's going on than Bibi Netanyahu and all those other guys. Maybe they're just all working hand in hand. We got to figure this out. But people like James Lee, they're out there to push you that Israel is the bad guy. Remember that video? You must go higher, my son. We'll go higher. Thank you for putting that in the link. We'll see you next week, handsome. I love you.
Take it easy, buddy. Love you too, man. Bye, Josh.
Buddy. Captain Caveman out. Look, as we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of diversity of thought and the peace we can cultivate with our neighbors. In a world that often feels divided, it's our differences that can actually bring us together. Every unique perspective, every story shared enriches our collective experience and dialogue over debate, compassion over conflict. When we listen to one another, we open the door to meaningful relationships. By engaging with our diverse communities, we can find common ground and build bridges that promote peace. So I encourage you, reach out to someone with a different viewpoint, share a meal, have a conversation, or simply listen. Let's create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding in our neighborhoods and beyond, because sometimes conflict can often bring resolution. Hey, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you so much. And remember, together we can celebrate our diversity and pave the way for a more brighter, more peaceful future. So until next time, keep that dialogue flowing and that peace growing. I am Craig Pasta Jardula, along with Sleepy J and all those lovely people in the chat and all those great people who called in today. I love you all. We'll see you next week. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, have a great time, but go slow, go easy. And remember, peace.